Sim racing tuition. Is it worth it? How does it work? Will it make you faster? Welcome to the SIMporium. In this video I've got numerous points to cover about paid tuition in general and about things in particular related to Driver61 training, so please bear with me. I completed the first wave of Driver61 training from July to August 2020, and my initial plan before I started was to set a time with a specific car and track, then set another time post-training to see if anything has improved for me. With that in mind, I set a lap at Tuskegee in the SR3, the video of which is on my channel, but now with the training complete it's very apparent to me that things are not so simple as all that. First things first, am I faster? If I hop back into the SR3 at Tuskegee, am I faster than I was before? No. No, I'm not. So that's it, right? Money wasted, training was pointless? Actually, no. In hindsight, that was really a naive and gung-ho approach to the training and any expectations I may have had. You see, the main factor, the absolute main factor when it comes to sim tuition is how much you are prepared to put into it. There are no magical fixes. No automatic improvements from taking a course. For real gains, you need to do your homework. I want to make it clear right from the start, if you are serious about your sim racing, if you put in the time to really practice what you are taught, you will reap far more benefits than the likes of me. I enjoy sim racing of course, but I don't take it so seriously, and while I do use the likes of iRacing, I'm not competitive enough or dedicated enough to really practice a track or car over and over before a race. It's all just a fun hobby for me. However, that's not to say the training hasn't had a positive impact on me. Firstly, I enjoy going through it, which you could argue is reason enough, and secondly, I absolutely learned a lot. I will implement what I learned from here on out, and moving forward these new skills will only improve over time, so while the course may not have instantly shaved seconds off my lap, I'm certainly more consistent now and feel confident that as I focus and practice these new skills, the speed will follow. Now, I'm not going to go in depth about what exactly Driver61 teach. Needless to say, the skills are fundamentals of sim and real-world racing, and yes, while technically you could find similar information for free online, if you knew what to look for, you'd be hard-pressed to find it delivered in such a structured and clearly explained curriculum. I've seen many videos and read lots of topics about sim racing technique, but I definitely learned a lot on this course, and came away with a much simpler understanding of numerous aspects. With that said, I need to point out that the first and most important topic that was covered is vision. I'm not giving any secrets away when I say that everything else needs to slot in behind getting your vision right, which puts you in the right place at the right speed on the track, lap after lap. I need to talk about vision because, in all honesty, it's an incredibly hard aspect to change. I know that personally it's always been a challenge for me. When I used to mountain bike, my speed on downhill runs was limited by my lack of vision. Watching the trail too close to my front wheel, and despite knowing this, it was always so hard to overcome the habit. And the same is true for me in sim racing. I must constantly remind myself, often verbally out loud even, to raise my vision, to look to the exit and not just focus on the apex. And when I manage it, and when I get in a groove, the benefits are clearly apparent. But all too soon, and often without even realising it, the vision closes in. Going back to my Tuskegee lap, I know now that this was an awful combination to try and review my progress. Correct vision needs to become second nature without needing to force yourself to recorrect all the time. But this doesn't happen overnight. This car and track combo in fact encouraged me to go back to my old ways. The car being so low with the track elevation changes mean many of the corners are blind or close to it, and you can't see the exit so easily. Now, I'm not saying you can't employ correct vision technique here, of course you can and should, but as someone who is struggling with the technique, this combo is far from ideal. Actually, concentrating so hard on vision often means the other skills fall by the wayside, and Driver61 are keen to point this out. They do emphasise you always do a few laps with vision being your main focus before trying to start learning a new skill, and if vision drops off at any point, go back and work on it again and again. It is the foundation upon which everything is built. Of course, over the weeks you cover key aspects of sim racing, car control, braking techniques, maintaining grip, etc., as well as touching upon racecraft and setups. The Driver61 training is a 5-week course, but really you should see it as 4, as week 1 is there to make sure everyone is on the same page regarding technical preparation for the course, i.e. your mic works in Discord, you know how to enable screen capture, you understand how to book your coaching, etc, etc. I'll talk about my experience of the Driver61 training, but bear in mind things are subject to change, as they were keen on receiving student feedback. Each weekend there were 1-hour live seminars with Scott Mansell, which may be considered a selling point for the course, but in all honesty the fact that they were live was rather redundant. The first one was a Q&A session in which Scott responded to emails sent in. Now personally, none of the questions felt very relevant to me, and the chance of one of your questions being picked is fairly slim. Many seem to be about sim hardware. Still, it was of some interest and makes sense for a week 1 seminar during the preparation week, but it really wasn't so much of a live Q&A. The following seminars were each specific to a skill in sim racing and extremely informative. It's clear Scott is enthusiastic to teach and enjoys what he's doing. They started with Scott asking if anyone has any light bulb moments, like if a skill just suddenly clicks for example, and some students would then talk through their experience. This, however, was really the start and finish of the live aspect of the seminars. In fact, I think it was only in one seminar where Scott responded twice to questions live highlighted from the chat by one of the instructors, who would also impart some valuable insights from time to time, most notably with regard to iRacing. So for the most part, the seminars could have been pre-recorded instructional videos. Don't go in expecting to be chatting with Scott. Look, I'm not trying to point this out as a negative criticism. An open forum between Scott and the chat going back and forth just wouldn't work in the time constraint. Just don't expect too much from the live aspect of these seminars. As I say, they are very interesting and informative, and they remain online and available to you to go back and watch at your leisure. The final seminar was an interesting discussion between Scott and a special guest, a real-world driver with some extremely notable victories under his belt, and it was very interesting to listen to. From a logistical and technical standpoint, the software and booking system all work well, and the sim used for live coaching is iRacing, though I believe it's all content which comes with the sim. You don't need to buy any additional content. Each week a new set of online sessions is unlocked, with videos of Scott showing you what they are for, what skills they teach, and how to go about them. This is where you need to put in the time and do your homework. This format works very well, as of course you can go at your own pace and revisit as and when you need to, and even now I can still log on and go over lessons, which I plan to do again soon. Lastly, let's talk about the best part, the live on-track coaching. Your instructor will be dependent upon the time slot you book, so if like me you book the same slot each week, you should be with the same instructor. I recommend this as of course you'll grow some familiarity and they can keep on top of your progress, learning your pitfalls and bad habits. I'm sure I heard my instructor taking notes for each of us students over the session. My instructor was a nice guy, really enthusiastic with a background in real-world racing and clearly knew what he was talking about and was very clear with his tuition. The sessions were about 70 minutes long with I think 5 students to the 1 instructor. Essentially you got about 10 minutes or so with hands-on coaching where he'd watch your screen broadcast in Discord. This was broken down to a few laps or so and you had time to work on key points before he came back to you. The rest of the time you can listen to him coaching to the other students, which of course is still beneficial. So the live seminars are interesting and informative, albeit not exactly interactive. The online lessons are clearly explained and are the true core of this course. They are where you will learn the bulk of your new skills. And the online coaching on track is fun and informative with real world feedback from instructors guiding you on implementing these new skills. All in all then, do I recommend paid sim tuition? I can't speak for any and all courses out there. I spent about £62 for the Driver61 course, and while I may not be as hardcore a simmer as some of their customers, I don't regret it at all. I think at that price it was good value. It all ran smoothly, I learned a lot, and I enjoyed my time over the course. As I said before though, to truly reap the gains, and this will apply to all courses, not just Driver61, you will need to put in the time. If you are a more casual simmer like me, you will still see the benefits to be had from tuition. If you're more serious and put in the hours, of course the benefits will multiply. Either way, I do think there is something to be had for everyone. Driver61 may change certain aspects or structure of their course. They may already have, I don't know, but I know they were keen on student feedback and of course will look for ways to improve moving forward from an already very good starting point. Everyone I had contact with at Driver61, be that Scott, his coaches or customer service emails, were friendly and professional without being overly formal. I honestly feel any sim racer, from a complete noob, an aspiring amateur or a promising pro, will fit right into the training and feel welcome, and more importantly learn a lot. And while you're taking a huge amount of information over the weeks, the course is delivered in such a way as to not become too overwhelming. I can't say if this is the best course out there. It's the only one I've done, but I can say I'm glad I did it, and I can say unquestionably that my sim skills now are further up the grid than when I started.